Hey guys, what's up? What's up? What's up? Back on site here, Saturday morning. What better way to spend your weekend, eh? But here we are. Finish this site off, go on to the next one. I'll make a little video today, I think, of me mulching. I know this probably doesn't interest a lot of people. A lot of people watch the videos for truck videos and stuff, but some guys watch for the forestry aspect. So we're gonna mulch some trees today. But before they do that, I'm just doing a little maintenance to the machine. I just greased the mulcher, greased the excavator, and I got to swap a couple teeth out because they're getting worn down. So if you do happen to have a mulcher, Sam, this is sort of for you a bit, even though I'm sure you know all this stuff anyway, but I know you just bought one of these things. I don't know what model you bought, but I think you got the same one I got, but you got the 100. Anyway, I think you run the chipper teeth there a bit too. So these teeth, they probably got, I'm gonna say 250 or so hours on them on the first side. So as you can see, they are reversible. They're starting to get worn down. This will probably be the last sight. I might do one more sight with these, but a good indication of when they're getting worn down is you see how shiny this is on the holder. That means the tooth is worn down past its sort of point where it's wider than the holder, and the holder actually starts to hit, and you don't want to do that too much or you're going to end up grinding this off and start hitting your bolt. So you do not want to do that. So as you can see, it's getting to that point. So one more sight probably, I'll finish this sight off and maybe the next one and I'll swap them over. But this one you can tell is really worn down. So we're going to swap that out with the new one, flip it around. But yeah, that's one thing you don't want to do, or you're going to be replacing these holders like crazy, and they're not cheap. So you can tell it's starting to get worn down and getting close to the bolt, and that's not what you want. So we're going to swap that around and continue on here. Also, Sam, you on your mulcher, I think this is like a 3-inch plate. And I don't know how yours couples on to your machine, but if it's like this and you use the mulching head fairly often, which I don't think you're gonna use it a lot anyway, because you have track skid steers and you've got the oh crap, what the hell is your big rig called? I can't remember. Your tracked forestry mulcher. Anyway, this will start to bow because it's so thin. This will start to bow, and then this will start popping out. So it will actually start to bow your mulcher. So I cut this off. I cut the 3/8 off and I put a 1-inch plate right on here. Ever since then, nothing's happened. And on the inside too, the drum, it keeps the drum from sliding side to side. There's like a sort of like a snap ring thing that keeps this from sliding side to side. I was going through those all the time, so I actually took this to a machine shop during the down season. I got them to take that out and put like a set screw system in. So and ever since then, this is my 2nd season with it and nothing's happened to it. It's just a couple things to keep an eye on, buddy. But anyway, let's get these teeth swapped around. Alright guys, so I decided to switch most of them around because they were starting to get worn down. I mean, you can see the difference right there. You see how this now sticks out past the holder? So that will protect the holder. But there's a couple I couldn't get switched around because my operator has them way too friggin' tight. Like they're like welded on there. See if I can find one. I couldn't get off. I should have known the other day when he told me, he asked me if he had ever broken a bolt tightening the tooth. Here's one. He's cranking on them with that breaker bar, and he's like, yeah, I just tighten them until it snaps. You don't need to do that. With that impact gun, I forget how many foot-pound of torque it has. There's another one. But I carry it in the cab with me, and every once in a while, I'll just check them. If I stop for a break, I'll go over with the impact gun. Because they're too tight, you're not going to get them off. And now what has to happen is like we got to put a weld here and onto this and put a nut onto that to get it off. And that sucks. Like, I want to change these around because I don't want to damage these holders, because this one's starting to get worn down pretty good. but I can't do nothing right here. I don't have a welder on my truck. So this tooth and this tooth, which is two of the worst ones, I can't get off. So it's gonna have to wait. Anyway, you don't need to crank on these things. You don't need to do that. Just check them every once in a while and everything is fine. Right now, I'm kind of up shit creek with no paddle, to be honest. But anyway, I think I'll swap that one out though. We're gonna jump in the cab and we're gonna grind some trees. Hey guys, here's the site so far. I started this yesterday. I got this line done. Got around the building done, an old outhouse there. The guys will get the stuff next to the fence by hand. This line's done. I hear a four-wheeler coming in the distance. And working on this side now, you can see the huge difference from what I did to what's not done. Yeah. So I ran the machine for about an hour so far, and I just checked all the teeth with the impact gun. Everything's good. Jump back in this air-conditioned cab since it's like 9 o'clock in the morning and it's 26 degrees out right now. It's a heat warning for today. Thank God for air conditioning. So I'm just gonna jump back in and continue on with this thing. Guys, funny thing, I was just talking to you for like 10 minutes and forgot to press record on the GoPro. You can tell I'm out of practice with this whole YouTube thing. Now I gotta remember what the hell I said. Okay. So, this is an FA25, so it's a bit wider. I think, Sam, like I said, I think you got the 100. The only difference is this is a little bit wider, and if you're into bigger stuff, that extra width doesn't make a difference. If you're doing small stuff like little tiny alders and grass and stuff, then this is faster because you get that much more per swipe. But so, like I was saying, this is my third year with this. My first year, I was breaking those sort of like snap rings sort of thing. I was breaking those off fairly often. That's what keeps the drum from keeps the drum centered, sliding back and forth. So I took that off after the first year and come up with like a set screw system. So and ever since then, having no issues whatsoever. I had some really good stuff too. I had some nice big trees there I ground up. Anyway, so I did that, and the plate, like I said, I took that stupid dinky, I think it was 3/8, the stupid little 3/8 plate off, and put this 1-inch plate on, because I use this all the time. This is my only piece of equipment. The machine has like just under 2,000 hours on it, and the Mulcher's definitely been on there for probably 1,600 of those hours, so it's on here all the time. And you know, due to that thin plate, it was actually causing the bow, and you could see it was bowed. The actual plate where it bolts on to the quick coupler plate there. And the side plates were like popping off basically. So took that off, put a 1-inch plate on. Ever since then, no issues whatsoever. And on the side of each end of the drum, but not the drum itself, the actual mulcher head, I welded two little plates. You might be able to see them on the top of where the grating is, where it helps break up the brush. I welded those on to keep brush from getting in between the drum and the outside of the mulcher, because it was causing it to bind up quite a bit. And ever since I did that, that's helped big time as well. So those are the modifications done. No issues with it other than that. You keep it greased and you're good to go. I have my gates open a little bit right now because the stuff that I'm in, the job that I'm doing, it doesn't need to be perfectly fine, and this helps it from, you know, it helps speed up the process and it helps it from binding up too. And if I was doing someone's, you know, like someone's backyard, I'd close the gates if I was doing small stuff like this, and I'd have my carbide teeth on so I could basically run right along the ground. But I mean, that's pretty good right there. That's right to ground level anyway. The head does a great job. Like, it's like I said, it's like 30 degrees outside. Sitting in here in the air conditioning cab, listening to the radio when I'm not talking to you guys, and getting the job done 100 times faster than what 3 or 4 people with bush saws and a chipper would, which is what I started out with. Actually taking my machine in on Monday when I leave to go home and get both hydraulic filters changed, just the normal filter and the suction line filter, which is inside the tank. My machine is at basically its 2,000 hour maintenance interval. Everything's working good, but I like to stay on top of things so that nothing happens, like, or hopefully nothing happens while I'm on site, especially if I'm paying someone to be up here and then all of a sudden something breaks and you gotta wait days for parts and filters, because the actual suction filter is not going to come in until Monday. So I like to stay on top of things. I'm taking it into to a shop up here in Bathurst and get that done. Keep this machine working tip top. Keep it making me some money. It does seem like the hydraulic is starting to be restricted a little bit, because when my boom is out and with the extra weight of the mulcher head, I don't have a lot of lift power when the boom's out. It wasn't like super fast originally, but it was better than what it is right now, so I'll get that done. So if you're doing stuff like I am right now, you know, you're wondering carbide teeth or chipper teeth. The chipper teeth are a bit faster. There's no way around it, especially with these teeth that I just swapped around. So if you're doing stuff like this, you don't have to be running along the ground. You can get a lot of life out of the chipper teeth, since, you know, they are reversible. I can usually get like 400 to 500 hours at least out of a set of teeth. And just the extra efficiency really helps. Even though this stuff's small, it's thick, so that's why I'm starting from the top, knock the tops off, and then come down through. You just come from the side with the full, like, tree. That's when you're gonna bind stuff up. And like I said, it's 30 degrees outside. I don't want to be out there reefing on pulling brush out of the head. I'd rather sit in here where it's nice and cool. Man, I had sent so much better stuff the first time. Anyway, the head works great, guys. It really does. If you're in this business and right now you're doing this stuff by hand, you know, with chippers, and you're thinking about a machine, this is the way to go. One guy guy in a machine, especially on a hot day like this. I would not expect guys to be out there swinging saws around, running chippers on a day like this. The Kubota does great. When I bought the machine, I originally, you know, I honestly I wanted to get a cat or a deer, just because honestly in my mind they are the best. And that's what I've used in the past, mainly deer. But when I started pricing them up, I basically got into this machine with the head cheaper than what the deer and the cat was. And the horsepower, I can't remember the horsepower numbers right now because it's been so long since I looked at it, but the horsepower and the flow numbers were virtually the same, and really that's all that matters. And then I've basically been problem free with this excavator. Honestly, the biggest thing is you just need to keep your fuel filters changed on a regular basis. If you start the machine up in the morning, you can hear it sort of hiccup a little bit, sort of sputter a little bit. Change your filters, because before too long you're going to be on a job site somewhere, you're going to crank the machine wide open and it's just going to shut off on you. That's what happened to me for the first time it happened, the first year I had the machine. I had walked this 7 kilometers back in the woods to my camp because I was building the road into my camp. So it's an hour and a half drive in there, rough drives. I finally get back there, I'm working on my road, and the machine starts spitting and sputtering and shuts off. So I went out, wasted my day basically. Went out and grabbed the fuel filter, swapped it out. It worked pretty good for a few minutes, and then it did it again because I didn't realize there was a second fuel filter, and they didn't tell me. So then I had to swap with the second fuel filter, and everything was fine. So keep the fuel filters changed, change your oil, occasionally change your hydraulic fluid, your filters. Honestly, you're good to go. It has a lot of power outside of the mulching head. I've built my camp road, foundation, everything with this machine, and the work around my house, and it's all rock where I live. It's all boulders. But anyway, guys, that's it for now. I think I covered most things that I forgot to hit record on the first time. So I'm just gonna continue on with this crap. I got this line to finish, will be done in probably half an hour. I'll jump over to the other guide line, the other anchor line. I'll do that one, and then I got the road to do. The road's pretty long, so I will be here the best part of the day, and then load up and head on to the next one. For now, that's it. Guys, so here in this condition, in this situation, I don't want the brush flying all over the place. I'm right next to the compound here. So here I close the gates and it just shoots it to the ground. This is what you would do, you know, if you're working in someone's backyard or something and you really want to do a good job of grinding it up. What you would do. Close your gates. If you had the carbide teeth on, you could go like right along the ground pretty much. Obviously if you stay up off the ground, it'll still make them last a lot longer. But you can see the brush is like staying right here in this area. Both gates are closed. Comes off the drum. You hits the gates and basically just shoots it straight to the ground. Trying to get as close to the fence as I can without obviously damaging the fence. I could just leave this for the guys to do with the saws, but I've been in their situation. I know that it's not easy work. So I try to maximize what I can do with the machine. Cleaned off my windshield this morning. It's a good thing. It helps me be able to see how close I am to that fence. Sam, how are you making it with your windshield? I don't know if you ever replaced the piece of plexiglass that you put on there or not. I had sent you a message when you first did that, or a comment I guess, when you were looking for options. Essentially what I have is, it's also plastic, but it doesn't glare up as bad. I'd have to go back through it to find out what exactly they call this, but it actually doesn't glare up too bad. You can go out and wash it off with some Windex, and it's really good actually. But anyway guys, that's the idea of, you know, closing the gates. Now we're on to the last guy line in the road. Guys, so here's a big advantage of the excavator for a mulcher versus a track machine, a skid steer, is doing the shoulders of the roads. You see the crown in the road, the ditch down there. You know, you can angle your bucket or your boom, your mulcher to get right along the edges, and you're still sitting on flat ground. Whereas if you're in a skid steer, you would be basically tipping over. You'd be leaning over pretty hard, even if you could do it. Some of them drop off too much that you just couldn't do it at all. So this was a big factor that played into my decision to get the excavator over the skid steer, because most of my work, the ground's not perfectly flat. If I was doing like nice farm fields and ranches and stuff like that, skid steer would be perfect, but for doing what I'm doing, this is the best way to go. Alright boys, we are done. We are out of here. The site is complete with the excavator. You know, it's funny that I mentioned about doing some preventative maintenance and getting the hydraulic filters switched, you know, swapped out, new ones, change the fluid, change all the fuel filters and change the oil and all that stuff. While I was running the machine, my hydro oil rising temperature gauge came on. So yeah, it's a good thing I'm getting that done. So of course I had to shut the machine off. I shut it off for like an hour, had some lunch, and then went back at it, and it was okay. But obviously it needs to be done. It's like 37 degrees out right now. It is ridiculously hot. Like the AC in the cab can't even really keep up because the sun hitting the windows. It's hot, man. Like, whew. Last year when I was up in Cape Breton doing my shift, it was hot. It seems like every time every time I'm on the road for a good period of time, it is like the hottest times of the year. But anyway, lock this gate up. Machine's loaded up, ready to go. We're gonna get out of here. Go on to the next one. Probably get a couple hours in. I think it's like 3:30 right now. Get a couple hours in today, get about an hour drive there, and that's it. Holy crap, guys. Wow, it is warm. All right, that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Moving on to the next one. Probably won't post a video tomorrow because I'll be doing the same thing. Don't want to overwhelm you guys with tree smashing videos. But anyway, anyone have any questions at all about the mulcher, the excavator, the trucks, whatever, hit me up. I'll respond for sure. Thanks for watching, everyone. Everyone stay safe, take care. See you next time. Bye.